Super strength ice is being moved from Asia's Golden Triangle through the Andaman Sea.
The morbidity rate with that drug is enormous. A couple of grains of salt is enough to kill you.
It's incredibly difficult for the governments to get their heads around.
We've certainly seen the influence of Chinese organised crime in the Pacific. They do come with money and influence.
Our objective is to disrupt those exports before they occur by taking out key players.
It's a high wire entry for the slickest of ops. No sooner are Mexico's Marines on this fishing boat, they are reeling in bags of drugs bound for market. Since 2019, they have seized 150 tonnes of ice, 70 tonnes of cocaine, and 73 tonnes of marijuana. Further south in Colombia, the anti-Narcos mission goes underwater, with police divers scanning for so-called parasite shipments, metal boxes of drugs covertly welded onto the hulls of boats. It's a new frontier of a rapidly evolving landscape of different drugs and routes.
All criminals and offenders are always rethinking the way they act, and it is up for the police forces around the world to reinvent themselves, to be retrained, and to learn in order to be able to face these challenges.
The biggest challenge confronting officers right now is a drug 50 times more powerful than heroin. Unlike cocaine, which takes 5 months to grow, fentanyl is made quickly and cheaply.
And that's actually why it's deadly, because there is no quality. It takes about 4 to 14 hours just by mixing 3 or 4 substances, and you don't need really a lot of special machinery to produce them.
No, simply the presses used to make tortillas.
The morbidity rate with that drug is enormous. And we're only talking about the size of a couple of grains of salt is enough to kill you.
In North America, it has cut a devastating path. One US state classified the drug as a weapon of terrorism, while in Canada, police carry fentanyl survival kits. Just touching it can be fatal.
And I would say to Australia, just be cautious about the substance, because at some point, fentanyl might reach the Australian market.
Mexico's Sinaloa cartel has added fentanyl to its product line and sources the precursors used to mix the drug from China.
China has about 285,000 unregulated pharmaceutical companies, and I think Chinese organised crime and other crime groups are actually exploiting that as a vulnerability.
Their precursors are also flooding Thailand, Myanmar and Laos. Once a hotbed for heroin, Asia's Golden Triangle is now a synthetics economy.
Methamphetamine is simply a profit spinner. It's much, much more profitable. Synthetic drugs are, because of the way that they're produced, that much more advantageous to organized crime. So they migrated their production that used to be in the Philippines or Malaysia or China into the Golden Triangle, where it's basically for them a safe haven to produce.
What they are producing is ketamine, an hallucinogenic party drug. Asia's Samgor cartel is throwing everything at it. And like fentanyl, it is made quickly and mixing is creeping in.
What we're seeing in Asia is they're mixing methamphetamine and ketamine sometimes and also selling it off as ecstasy. We need governments to pay attention to the forensics, because people aren't exactly sure when they buy ecstasy what they're taking these days, at least in Asia. Of course, Australia is deeply connected to Asia. It could be coming here at some point in time as well.
The way they are getting it here to the Australian market, which pays more than any other country in the world for drugs, is changing. And the Pacific is the chief cog in the wheel. Its island nations are now stockpile and transit hubs. Cocaine and ice from Mexico flows in, precursors from China flow out.
The South Pacific in particular is quite vulnerable. You're looking at vessels travelling from South America to Australian coastline, particularly the east coast. They go through the Pacific.
Papua New Guinea specifically. Its storage depots allow cartels to drip feed supply, which keeps prices high.
We're seeing black flights going in and out of the country, moving drugs from the Pacific into Australia.
Those small societies don't have the health systems, the policing systems to handle methamphetamine.
Another one of my concerns is the fact that we're actually starting to see some of these drugs on the streets in the Pacific, and the effect of that in terms of their communities could be enormous.
Back in Southeast Asia, the Andaman Sea is the other new delivery gateway.
Smaller fishing vessels are meeting up with larger ships, and those drugs are ending up in Australia through ports like these.
The citizens of Australia are absolute drug gluttons.